Hello! Oh my god, I'm back. Woo! Cue the happy music. Huh? How long has it been? Like, two weeks or something? Yeah, but I'm back. Look at me, I'm back again. I'm playing Fortnite again. Anyone who doesn't know, I just wasn't motivated. I really wasn't. But now I am again. So, I'm making more YouTube videos. Now, I don't know if my next video is gonna be in a few days, or if it's gonna be next week, or it's gonna be in a month or a year. I don't know, but I'm back for now, okay? So, today, we're gonna learn how to make a, loot box. Almost like the Call of Duty zombies. I don't know what you call them. I think they call them mystery boxes. But, you know, you spend a currency and it spins an item. It's like a gamble, basically. And we're going to learn how to do that. Now, I've seen a lot of videos, or at least a couple, I think, on this. And they just don't do it justice, man. Like, I see people tell you how to do it, right? They're like, okay, do this thing, do this thing, do this thing, and you have it. But they don't actually explain how it works. So I'm here to actually explain how one of these things works. Now, I have everything you're going to need laid out right here. You're going to need an item spawner, a conditional button, a trigger, and a sequencer. Now, for some reason, I'm really bad at the technical side of creative, but I know how to do this, so I'm going to teach you how to. But we're just going to start off by, well, I'm going to move this off to the side. We're going to take our conditional button here, and we're going to set it right there. Now, you're going to want to choose a currency for this conditional button. Now, what kind of sucks with the buttons is that you can't have it so you have to spend multiple kinds of currency. Like, you can't have it so you have to spend wood, stone, and metal all at once. You have to make it so there's only one currency. One thing you can probably do, but this is kind of on the side, is if you go to the item spawner, you can set the wood, stone, and metal of each item and make it so you can spin for free. But I don't like that, so we're gonna have to, I'm just gonna use this. So I'm gonna make it so wood is what you have to pay. So I dropped wood on the ground right there. All you gotta do is drop it in front of the button and it'll pick it up. Now, the color of the device, literally, it changes the color of, like, the outside, right? So, let's have mine be beige. That's ugly. Never mind. Yeah, never mind. Sure, that's a nice color. Interaction text. This is basically what pops up when you go and interact with the button. I'm not going to change it. You can set this to whatever you want. Basically, these are all color, interaction text. These are all visual stuff. I don't really care about that. Now, key items required is how much you're going to have to pay. How much currency you're going to have to pay, right? So I can make it so I need 150 wood to press the button. I can make it so I need literally 1,000 wood to press the button. It just choose what you want. I think 150 is a good amount, especially if the items you can get are pretty good. Now, you do want it to consume key items. What this jib is basically telling you is that when you spend the wood, you won't get the wood back. So this is actually a very interesting setting. This basically, so if you put this on no, you won't have to put 100, so say I have to put 150 wood into the button, okay, you won't have to do it all at once, so I can deposit 50 wood, come back 5 minutes later, and then put 100 more wood, and then it would spin the box. In my case, I'm going to keep this on yes, so you need all required items in order to spin the box. Now, you do want this enabled at game start, and here's all the trigger stuff. We want to go down to here, and you might want to write this down depending on how complicated your map is. But when activated, transmit on, basically pick a channel. I'm going to do 1 to be simple. And that is basically gonna do it for our conditional button. Now, once you do that, you want to come over here to the sequencer, and you want to edit the sequencer. Now, if you're doing this in a real map, obviously you want this to be hidden from the player so they don't see any of it. But up here when it says looping, you're going to want to change this. Now, this is how... this is going to create that, like, spinning effect, right? You don't have to have it, but I think it definitely makes it look cooler. So put this on 16 times, and you want this tempo up really fast. 180 is the max. That's what I would recommend. 170 maybe. But that's about it. Now length, it actually doesn't need to be a long sequencer at all. I'm going to keep it at 0.5. In fact, I don't actually recommend it being a long sequencer. Do not put the length to 100. Normal 2 or 0.5 is what I would recommend. It doesn't need to be any thicker. It doesn't need to have a bigger height. And here is the important one. Start sequence when receiving from channel 1. Put this channel right here as the one you put when the button is pressed. So in my case, it's channel 1. So when the button is pressed, a signal is going to transmit on channel 1, and it will reach the sequencer, and the sequencer will go off. Now, finally, you're going to want to take this trigger, place it in the sequencer. Now, if you didn't know, you can actually trigger triggers by using a sequencer. So, just by that, I think you can kind of see where this is going. So, you want to go down by times can trigger. You want to set this to infinite for obvious reasons, I think, because you want that rolling effect. You want to see all the items fly by before you get the one to pick. You don't want a delay. You probably want to disable the effects and sound, though. And if you want it to be visible in game, then check this yes. The important one is down here. When triggered, transmit on, not the channel you already used, okay? You don't want, so in my case, you don't want it to be channel 1. You want this to be channel 2, because you'll see in a second. So now what this is going to do is we're going to press the button. The button is going to activate the sequencer. The sequencer will do this and continually activate the trigger, which will transmit on channel 2. That's what's happening right now. And trust me, I know this stuff can be complicated. Pause and go back if you're really if you're really losing it, man. And now for our last step, we want the item spawner. Now, to be honest, I'm just going to take a bunch of stuff and drop it on the item spawner. There's a couple med kits, there's some shield potions. But yeah, those are all going on the item spawner. Now don't worry, these will appear randomly when you spin the wheel. Now these are very important settings, and these are probably, you know, if you get one of these wrong, it probably won't work. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you. You want items to respawn, or else you can't roll the box a second time. Down here in random spawns, you want this set to random. You don't want it on no repeats, you want it set to random. Visible during games, now that determines if this item spawner over here, you can see it. You can still see the item, but you won't be able to see the base of the spawner. For me, I don't care, okay? In this case, it's a tutorial, I don't care. Now down here where it says time before first spawn, you want this set to never, and same thing with time between spawns. That's the most important thing. It's literally the most important thing on here. Now if you put weapons in this thing, I suggest having bonus ammo for weapons on. It gives the player ammo when they pick up a weapon. Run over pickup, I suggest is off. Item visibility, always keep it at 1 times. You want this enabled at game start. You do not want this to continuously spawn items. Now down here at the very bottom, you want this as the channel the trigger is sending a signal to, okay? So for me, my trigger is sending a signal to channel 2. And when that is happening, it's going to cycle to the next item. Now you might want to set it so an item spawns 2, but I don't think you need that. But yeah, that's those settings. Now obviously you can be fancy and decorate this, and I'm actually going to set the items required down to like 1, because I don't feel like having to cut down like 50 trees. Yeah, let's test this, right? And I just realized I have infinite amounts of I have infinite material, but let me just pick up this shield potion and throw it that way. And I'll just eat the slurp fish so we can see better. Now, when I press this button, this is what it's going to look like. Obviously, you can decorate this however you want, but this is just a tutorial, so I didn't even bother. But go crazy with this. When we press this button, this is what's going to happen. And the random item we got is a slurp fish. Now, I have infinite amounts of materials, but if I didn't, it would actually take away 1 wood, as you can see in the bottom right down here. It says 1 times. Now, what's actually happening here is when we click the button, this is going off. It's triggering that like 1 billion times, and it's just switching the weapon. And as you can see, it doesn't respawn, and it's random each time. This time I got rusty cans. It's actually kind of fun. So we're going to trigger this. And boom. What do we get? Is that small fry? Small fry. But I mean, yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. This is just way too addicting. On one of my maps, I have it set so the Infinity Blade is in here, and it's like a 1 in 100 chance to get it, and everyone goes crazy about it when they find the Infinity Blade, which is really fun. You can do some really fun things with this mechanic. If you want to be EA, you can finally do it. Actually, you could have done it already. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video.